So,
okay, thank you. So I just want to say that I do believe things are getting better. I represent the 19 wing, and right across the street there's the transition center. I've done tours of both places, and I do see that there's a lot of work being done, and I think it's important we acknowledge that. But I think it's also important that we acknowledge that we still have a ways to go and that we're working hard, but we still have a ways to go. So if I can come back to you, Major General, I'm just trying, you answered my last question, but I just want to ask a little bit of clarity. So who is in charge of that training? Like you talked about a medical booklet, I'm assuming going. Who is in charge? That's one. The second part of that question is that you said that there's a survey, but those booklets would be going to healthcare professionals. So how are you surveying veterans and women veterans on feedback on that? I'm just wondering, because I'm not clear on the process. And what I really want to understand is if veterans are included in this. Because if they are not, I just think it's important we recognize that so that that's something we can talk about in the future.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I'm not aware of any training specifically. I'm aware of a document that was shared with family doctors. And this was developed by Veterans Affairs with the College of Family Physicians, with our support. This is support of a transition group as well. The survey is not specific to that. Veterans Affairs are doing regular surveys of their veterans. One of the examples is what was released several years ago, the Life After Service Survey, that highlighted many of the challenges that our veterans have from a health perspective after a transition, for example, which allowed us to focus a bit of our efforts there. So I suspect that through those surveys, veterans will be able to monitor if access to family doctors that understand their need is better or not. But I'm not aware of the specifics of how they're going to assess that, though.
Okay, that's helpful. So now we know that that's just not happening, and it might be something we want to explore in the future. That was extremely helpful. If I can come to you, Commodore, one of the things that I'm asking for clarity is you didn't mention anything about transition services for MST. Is there transition services for MST?
And that'll be the final question for this round, but I'll give you a time to respond, of course.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So specific transition services for MST, it's more a personalized transition service with the individual. Therefore, if there are specific requirements, specific needs, they can be tailored. If there is also if they are releasing in an injured manner, like a medical release, they also have a service coordinator that facilitates that transition piece with them and make them aware of all the services that are available.
And I just want to add that the SMRSC is the acronym that is the expert on that MST support and their support and I know that they a bit too similar to OSISS with the support team and that is restorative engagement and also their team working with victims of MST to try to get better.